Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Kevin, and today I'll be showing you the 80% revenue gap that 99% of clinic owners forget about and how to recapture that revenue today. So without further ado, let's dive in. Your practice has a hidden revenue problem. Now, most clinics that I speak with, and I speak with dozens of providers every single week, define patient care from the moment the patient walks in and it ends the moment the patient walks out. But truly, that's only 20% of that patient journey. The pre 40% happens even before they book. Awareness, consideration, trust building. 40% happens after that patient leaves. Retention, upsells, referrals, reputation management. If a clinic does nothing else different and just buttoned up the pre 40 and post 40 of that patient journey, the business will make more money. We believe about $20,000 to $30,000 per month is slipping away by not capturing the remaining 80%. And you may be asking yourself, why should I even listen to this guy? I want to first show some real results from practices across the nation and what they were able to accomplish just by capturing that pre and post 40%. Dr. Oda in Hawaii had 61 confirmed bookings from his dormant patient files within the first 3 days of reactivation. Dr. Adonis in New Jersey increased production by 35 to 40% within 2.5 to 3 weeks. 124 Wellness Studio was booked out 7 days in advance in a 48-hour window. We had a 5-day campaign ready for her, and on day 2, she texted me and said, "Hey, Kev, turn it off. We're all the way booked till next Tuesday." It's a good problem to have. Cal Bloom Med Spa and Hydration added over $1,000 in new opportunities within the first 60 minutes. Ended up finishing that first 7 days with $11,000 cash collection. Low Country Chiropractic, 10 confirmed bookings within the first 4 hours. Live Vibrant Wellness Med Spa, over $12,000 in the first 7 days. We actually took them from $117,000 to $144,000 within the first 30 days together without spending a dime on paid ads, 100% recovered from existing patients. Dr. Robert, 14,000 in 14 days. Dr. Jennifer, 19,000 in 14 days. Dr. Dika King, 41 consults reactivated within the first 30 days. And Dr. Jack in Manhattan, New York, added 8 GLP-1 packages within the first 30 days of using this exact system. So again, this stuff works time and time again, like clockwork, and it works across all specialties. So back to that 80% revenue gap that we were talking about, right? Before the appointment, awareness, consideration, decision to book. Most clinics maybe have no system in place. They have maybe a follow-up system. Hey, your appointment's coming up in 48, 24 hours, 12 hours. But that's not enough. That simply reminds patients that we're here to serve them, but it doesn't give them a good enough reason to actually show. So maybe your no-show rate is going through it. One key concept here that I want to focus on is avoiding commoditization, meaning a lot of patients call you the shop down the street. They price shop you guys. You're really no different. The only way to compete is price. It's not the kind of business that you want to run. Instead, you want to be premium positioned, attracting premium customers, nurture and keep patients for life who recommend their friend or family. The only way to do that is if they buy into your mission, not just what you provide and what price, but rather who you are and why you serve your mission. If they understand and buy into your mission, then they really buy into you, and it doesn't matter if the shop down the street is 50% cheaper. They trust you, and you're the only person that they're willing to bring their problems to look for a solution. If you button up the pre 40%, and I'll show you how, $10,000 to $15,000 per month recaptured. Now, the in-appointment 20%, consultation, treatment to payment, you're already good at this. We don't have to change what's not broken. Acquisition happens even before they come in, and it continues long after they've left. So after the appointment, follow-up, retention, upsells, referrals. Most clinics have maybe one email. Maybe they do one email blast per month. Maybe they do one set of calls every quarter. It's not enough. And what this actually does is it trains your patients to only hear from you when you need them for something, and they expect a discount, a promo. If we button up the post 40%, we recapture about $10,000 to $15,000, increasing monthly revenue by about $20,000 to $30,000 without spending a dime on ads, using the patients that you've already paid to acquire, the ones that are sitting in your EHR collecting dust. You're only seeing the 20%. We want to help capture the other 80%. Number one is continuously reactivating dormant patient and underutilized patients. Reactivation is not a one-off. We don't just send one reactivation and never do it again. Retention and nurturing happens every single month, 3 times a month. We want to adapt our messaging by patient type, condition, history for maximum relevance. In 2026, patients know when they're being automated to. They know when this is a bulk blast. The only way to wield automation and personalization in 2026 is through segmentation. So we want to break those patients down into subgroups and create individual swim lanes for each of those segmentation criteria. And I'll show you how in the next slide coming up. We also want to deliver value-first outreach that rebuilds patient trust over time. Trust is the number one driver for coming to your practice, staying with your practice. You may be doing everything right, but we have to compete for their attention, patients' attention, with social media, with Netflix, with car crashes on Instagram, and it's becoming harder than ever before to capture patient attention. So we have to be omnipresent. We have to show up in email, text, call, maybe even social media. We want to run monthly seamlessly without requiring staff intervention or additional ad spend. If we solve this problem by creating more problems, is the problem even solved? Then just don't solve it in the first place. You want to bring patients back without increasing your costs. What I see a lot with clinics that scale from $50K per month to $150K per month is that cost to run that business scale right along with it. So even though they may show a bigger top line, a bigger production month, but profit and take home actually is less, then again, why are we even doing that? So what we like to do is keep cost at bay while increasing revenue, because that spread becomes additional profit. The result here is we generate revenue across the entire patient life cycle automatically on autopilot. So that AI reactivation engine here, when I think about lost patients, they're not gone. They're simply unmanaged. So we want to manage those patients by first segmenting them through commonalities. The easiest way to think about your patients is last treatment date. We have our 0 to 6 month, 6 to 24, and 24 month plus. Those are 3 buckets of segmentations that we can use to break your 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 patient list down into 3 subgroups. And each group would get their own swim lanes, meaning their path to nurture is different. Your 24 plus month patients requires a different touch point and amount of touch points before they're ready to convert and come back into your world again. Your 0 to 6 month patients, they still remember who you are. They had a great experience with you. It's a different outreach method, messaging, and potentially even the offer to get different kinds of patient back in the door. At any given month, we want to be doing about 3 reactivation waves. You have reactivation, nurture, and offer. There's a concept here that I'll introduce called patient relationship banking, but give you kind of like a teaser. You want to be injecting more goodwill into your audience than you are taking away. The only reason why reactivation works so well is because of something hardwired in all of us called reciprocity. The only way to activate reciprocity is if we give first and we give again. So we always want to be giving more than we are taking away. Now, quick note on infrastructure, right? When we think about building infrastructure and building the system to reactivate patients, any serious clinic owners thinking about patient data and risk and compliance, we don't run our system on some kind of janky startup stack. We partner with healthcare data governance company called Vantage Data Group. Their infrastructure powered the workflows for the organizations like the ones that you see here. Some of the biggest organizations in our nation that runs healthcare, and they manage billions of patient data, billions of transactions every single month. So our 5,000, 15,000, 30,000 patient database, no problem, piece of cake for the infrastructure that we've built. What this means for you is even though you're not a giant hospital system, your reactivation, your reminders, even maybe some AI call handling are running on the same guardrails that were built to pass enterprise healthcare scrutiny. You still own your data. We don't resell it, and everything is aligned with HIPAA level governance by default. That's what we're introducing here, and that's how we've been able to see this system in action. This is that patient relationship banking concept that I was talking about. Reciprocity is hardwired in all of us, but if you withdraw goodwill more than you are depositing, you will run out of reciprocity. I mean, just imagine with me for a quick second here, guys. You have a bank account. All you ever do is withdraw from that bank account. What's going to happen? You're going to run out of freaking money. Same thing's going to happen with patient relationships. Maybe you've seen a decline in patient compliance. When asking yes or no, are you ready to get started, you're getting a lot of no's or I need to think about it. That's usually a symptom that we're not giving enough, that there's not enough trust and reciprocity. So the way to solve this is you always want to be working on a 2-to-1 give to ask ratio. We have to be at any given month giving to our audience more than we are taking away from it. So educational content, genuine care touch points, value first giving, then strategic offers. Even when you do ask, I would like you to have those offers, those promos, be a give in public, sell in private, meaning in their eyes, you are giving something of value away for free. And the upsell and downsell conversation, the sales talk, happens behind closed doors. So in the eye of your audience, all they ever see is more give, more goodwill, building up, compounding goodwill over time with the patients that are already in your database. What happens when we insert relationship banking with patients is patients proactively ask you what care plans you would recommend them next. Baking the sales process into the patient journey is extremely important. Patients don't just want care, they want to feel cared for. Nothing screams, I don't care for you, than just buy my thing, but how can we help them if they don't commit to a protocol? So we have to be very strategic about how we approach the conversion conversation. Now, granted, everything still wraps around recovering lost revenue, so we do need these patients to come back. We do need to identify their pains, and if we have a solution for them, we have to be able to move them through that sales process so they will convert and comply to your suggestions. When we think about offers, the first thing that comes to mind is probably the last offer that you ran, and it was a discount offer. Discount offers trains patients that you're a discount clinic, that if they just wait long enough, you'll put it on sale. So why should they even come in? Worse, even if you ran a discount-driven offer and they say yes to that offer, you set false expectations. They come in day one, they pay the discounted rate, they come back month two, day two, they expect the same discounted rate. If you don't give it to them, they'll churn and go chase a new deal somewhere else. That's not what we want. We want folks to come in through attraction offers and pay full price on day one, so the expectation is set that on day two, they pay the same price. So the old approach of discounting your primary service, it trains patients to wait for deals. Price becomes the only objection. It devalues your expertise. We don't want Groupon clients. You don't want to be a discount clinic. It creates churn expectation because if they don't pay the same discount on day two, they'll churn. Instead, the new strategy here is low friction attraction offers, value-driven entry offers, education content first. You build trust even before you ask. You maintain your premium positioning while still running promos and offers, meeting patients where they're at, making it easy for them to raise their hand and come back into your world, and you recommend, you prescribe the necessary protocols to get them from where they are to where they want to go. Now, as a reminder, price is only an objection in the absence of perceived value. The example I like to give here is, when I was young, I sit in front of cable television and a commercial will come on. Buy this one knife for $51.99, but just wait. If you dial right now, I'm going to give you 2 knives. You're sitting there like, oh my gosh, man, this is such a great deal. Maybe I should call. And then they go, hold on. If you dial right now, I'm going to give you 12 more knives and a carrying case, all for the price of 1 knife. You pick up the phone and you call because you've overwhelmed prospects with perceived value until they submit. That's what we're solving for here. How do we make your offer more attractive, more valuable, without actually changing the offer itself? Because the truth in that knife example that I gave was they simply took the price of 14 knives in the carrying case and gave it to that first knife and continue to overwhelm you with perceived value until submission. That's how you approach an offer so good, people feel stupid saying no. Now, when I think about rolling out your first campaign, these are the things that I'm thinking through as far as timeline, because you don't want results in 90 days. You don't want it in 6 months. You want it in right now. I mean, honestly, for some of us, we really needed it yesterday. So how do we get results within 10 days? Within your first 3 days, you really want to set up your copies, get an ATP 10 DLC application out there so you can get a compliant number to text and call patients with. Within the first 7 days, you want to get your first campaign up and out. So that way results start happening as early as day number 8. We want to move really quickly. Reactivation is not rocket science. We just have to be very strategic about the kind of offers that we make, who we're making it to, and when we're making that offer. By day 15, you want to get your second reactivation wave out there. Remember, reactivation is not a one-off. You want to be doing about 3 reactivation waves per month. So wave 2 goes out week 2 of the month. Each reactivation wave is anywhere between 3 to 5 days of messaging. If it's a 5-day 3 message, text on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Text and email Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If it's a 3-day 2 message, send on Monday, Wednesday. You always want to kind of have a buffer in between, unless you're doing some kind of a sprint. There are offers that we've seen where you want to do a 7-day sprint. That's a 7-day 7, send 7 messages in 7 days. Wave 3 of reactivation happens on day 21. If you're using, and for some of our folks, we introduce AI outbound call agents. So when patients respond to an offer within seconds, an outbound agent can make contact, speed to lead, and convert and get them on your books without you ever having to touch them. I would recommend an outbound agent, so this way you don't have to scale your cost as you grow the business, meaning as I get more business, because if you contact old patients, they will come back. Do you need to hire a new front desk? Maybe 2 front desk? Or you can opt for 1 AI outbound agent, train it once, and scale indefinitely. By day 30, you can review your results and you can look at your scale strategies. What we're really solving for here is not a replacement of new patient acquisition. But if your patients came back when they're supposed to, you would never need a new patient again because you're already booked out from the patients that you already have. And growing the business becomes opening more doors, more locations, becoming a group ownership of multiple doors. That can't happen if you can't have retention in place. Within the first 30 days, we like to recapture about 20 to 30 grand out of thin air from existing dormant patient files. Now you have ad budget. Now you have tested offers that is actually worth putting ad dollars behind. That's why we think about scale strategy within the first 30 days, because if done correctly, old patients would have came back. These are people who already know, like, and trust you. They're the most willing to commit to protocols, collect that cash, continue to reactivate, but start introducing tested new patient acquisition offers with house money that you found in your patient database. This is that path to scale that I was mentioning. Right now, we are in optimizing our operations. How can I cook the best meal with the stuff that I already have in my fridge and pantry, aka patients that I've already paid to acquire? How can I squeeze more revenue out of those patients without burning trust? If anything, building more trust. So every month, 1 to 3% of your database will convert. There's predictability, there's retention, and lifetime value for each of your patients. Once you solve for retention, now we're looking at opening up multiple doors. That's really when we look to scale the business. Scaling the business does not require more and more ad spend. It requires a smarter system and a new way to think about patient acquisition. Once you're at multiple doors and most likely around 200 to 300K per month, then we look at strategic advisory support. Maybe you're looking for an exit. Line yourself up for a 2 to 3 year runway to exit the business. If you don't want to exit the business and you want to build legacy, nothing wrong with that. But we should build with the goal of financial injection. So when that day does come, you have options. And if you do sell, it could be the difference between a $2 million exit versus an $8 million exit. We helped a clinic exit in December of 2025 and a clinic exit in January of 2025. The only difference between the multiple, their payday, is how revenue was coming in. Reoccurring revenue is worth the 6-time multiple versus a one-time revenue at a 2x multiple. It could be the difference between a 4x payday, and I want to position you for options and the maximum amount of exit opportunity. That's our path to scale. this is one of our successful clients who was able to go from 117 to 144,000 within the first 30 days together. Nelly said, I wish I've known about your services before. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to pay an agency for my clinic to deliver not even 10% of the results. Forever grateful. Nelly was incredible, and we helped her exit in December. But that's all, folks. I really wanted today's time to walk you through why we should invest our time in building trust with patients who already know, like, and trust us. I want to introduce the difference between ask only versus give and ask. And I want to show you that there's a new way to run offers, and that's not discounting our primary service, but rather gamified attraction offers. Keeps it fun, keeps it fresh, keeps it different than your competitors, because if you do the same thing your competitors do, you get the same results as everybody else, which is mediocre at best. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through whichever channel you're viewing this video from. I look forward to speaking with you live, and I hope we get to work together soon. We'll see you on the other side. Have a great day.